Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much again for joining me here. Hope you're having a great day. Let's take another look here. Happy Friday to you. Bitcoin closer to about 94,000. We're right here at this point of control, this key level support range, if you will. Last line of defense though, keep that in mind. We did get a small candle wick down to this lower liquidation range at about 91,000. So a good chunk of change got swept there, but there's some really interesting trading here. This is algorithms. If you can kind of see this here, look how perfect these candles are. That is a trading algorithm, folks, and that is complete manipulation. It's slow manipulation, of course, just consistently push the price to a desired level, and then of course they dump all at once. So unfortunately that happens. Not much we can really do about it, but a lot of times folks will get faked out by that, by taking a late long here. But the key takeaway I would like to say, at least regarding that, plus what we see here on the charts, is just getting above 95,000 at the very least is going to be an important part of just turning, flipping the script here or recovering however well. You don't have to try to get in early. You can get in here at 95 and still be pretty good. But we wanna wait for that to happen before the price action recovers. In other words, we're still breaking down with this descending trend line. We have a lot of reasons why the price is more likely to go down than up at this point, and it's important to recognize that we may not have truly bottomed out yet, even though it's looking nice to kind of get some consolidation in this range. It's pretty much necessary in order for us to leg up. So again, just some things to kind of be mindful of. I don't want you to be, cautiously, I do want you to be cautiously optimistic, but don't be like, kind of foolhardy by thinking that we're just back on track because we had a good little push up and we're holding this 93,000, 94,000 range. Again, it's a consolation, but you don't trade on consolation. So let's take a quick look at the back end data here and we'll kind of work our way down. Oh, quick little heads up too, by the way, folks, we are short heavy. Well, not heavy, sorry. We have a short in heavy profit. That's a different story. We don't have a lot of shorts open just yet. I don't feel right shorting what feels like the bottom, right? It just doesn't, it feels premature. Either way, 32%, roughly 31% in 18 hours. Congrats to our community for that. Is a Bitcoin short that we opened day before yesterday. When we take a look here at Bitcoin though, we can double check in the last 7 days. There's kind of a weird little sporadic thing going on here. What I mean by that is, we got the 91,000 to 90K range. We've talked about that previously, still existing. But as soon as the price pulled down, there was a pretty heavy short that entered at about 95K. Now, I totally understand why, because 95,000 is that tentative resistance level, but we're seeing kind of some weird price action here with the limit orders and or basically liquidation events and or stop losses. But if we look at the macro here, we can see half of the major liquidation got swept, so that's half the reason why the algorithm was able to push the price action back higher. We can see 91,000 to 90,000 as that big chunk of liquidation still left. So either until that's swept, A, or B, the price holds above this 95K mark, there's no real reason to consider a long position. We're kind of in a weird place. Liquidation delta implies we have a lot more shorts in the market than longs, which makes sense because we are moving down. However, we stay at this level for too long, which we are getting there, we may actually see a recovery here too. So with us testing this descending trend line, which is specifically the 20-day SMA on the 4-hour time frame, we can recognize here that we're in a situation right now where we're trying to break bullish, but we haven't yet. And even if we do break bullish, say we hit 95,000, I'm still going to be a little leery about taking a long, just because it feels like kind of like a fake out. And again, the market is super good about that, right? They've faked us out many times in the past, so it's hard to want to jump in. It's easy to be a little gun shy right now. All that being said, though, 93,000 upwards of about 95K. These are two areas of interest here locally where people have bought in, so folks are buying the dip. Previous to that, of course, 98 and 102 are the heaviest concentrations. So that's kind of where we're at there in the overall sense in the back end. Let's quickly take a look here at the front end data and kind of see roughly what this is looking like. All right, so because the daily time frame, we talked about this yesterday, it was mostly bearish. When we look at the moving averages, we're below the two key levels here. Again, 96 to 97,000 is that range of SMAs above the price action. We zoom out too with this local range ever since we've been just say 90,000 or higher. Our largest point of control is at 97,000. I'm just rounding up a little or rounding down a little, but 97K is that resistance. So between 95 and 97, we got a lot of volume above us, therefore more selling pressure and or resistance. So not really a condition you want to try to take a long into, right? At least not this early. I think it's premature. We're still under 50 on the RSI until we can reclaim that. Again, still not in a good situation here. And even last time when we got above 50, the price action pretty much faked us out at this $100,000 mark, or 102 it was. So a lot of little fake outs, a lot of little false positives here. Nothing super concrete. If somebody else is mentioning that there's hidden bullish or bearish divergences on the daily time frame, I would laugh and stop watching. But again, just throwing it out there. Again, it's not like it's bad or good, but if you were trying to attach yourself to a constellation here as to whether or not the price is going to reverse itself and shoot to the moon, you're probably in the wrong headspace, I guess is the easy way to understand it, because you should never be convincing yourself to take a trade based on one confirming factor, right? The macro is pretty much down. Until we get over 95 to 97K, roughly, we shouldn't have any consideration for long. Now, granted, altcoins are responding fairly well today to Bitcoin kind of bouncing off that lower 91, 92K range. So this is, the market isn't terrible, but this price action is pretty bad, because anytime Bitcoin pulls back, these altcoins are just ripping down. So it's a very, very tumultuous type of condition that I typically like to avoid. So if you're in my community, you're like, where the heck are all the signals? I'm sorry, but I'm not going to be sending trades that are higher risk. And we're in this like weird transition. Every time we get confirming factors, the price action rejects and continues lower. And it's not really ideal trading conditions. So let's take a look here at the 4-hour time frame. You can recognize the 20-day SMA is running concurrent with this trend line, right? We've retested this level twice so far. Until we close above that, I would say we need at the very least a closure of 94,000 today to have any legs to stand on. Because again, we cannot be establishing lower highs and lower lows. While we have established a higher high, it still hasn't broken the trend line and the resistance level. Okay, so that really just reinforces the resistance at 95K and potential support at 94,000, which still is yet to be seen. We can see MACD is trying to converge, hasn't yet. That's not really a very strong convergence, by the way, when it just barely peaks above. That's not really something you want to trade into. We're under 50 on the RSI as well. Closing above 95K should put us there, though, right? So again, waiting for that confirmation would be recommended at the very least here. Okay. Now, if we take a look at the hourly time frame, I'm willing to speculate we're still under the cloud, and this is actually really cool. This is a good example of how powerful the cloud is. In other words, it typically will run concurrent with a lot of trend lines. Okay. So this is good news here in a sense where we're still below it. I'm not saying that's phenomenal, but the truth is if we were to come to this 94 to 95K range, we'd have some confirming factors that are letting us know that we have some positivity and some benefit of the price going in the upward direction. Okay, so again, for the most part, we want to wait a little bit longer here to ensure that this descending trend line either holds, it'll reject the price and continue lower, or we break through it and we have possibility of maybe taking some long with confidence, or some longs rather. So again, this is not an ideal situation, but lagging span still within the price action, conversion lines barely above the baseline. There's some good stuff here, but again, strictly consolation until we close above that level. So we need a solid closure of 94 to 95K or higher in the next 12 to 24 hours, or we're probably not going to have much of a leg to stand on. So that's really what I'm looking for to be able to give me some confidence in taking a trade. I'll post a playout chart on our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord as per usual, so it's going to be there available for you if you want. And then obviously, make sure that if you want to, join us over at Bitunix, folks. Phenomenal exchange, awesome rewards. Next month they're going to have a deposit bonus. So just really cool exchange. No KYC or VPN required. They're a good community option for our traders who want to be able to utilize leverage. So again, that's kind of where we're at. I hope you have a good rest of your day though. Thanks again so much for your time. Take care of yourself. We'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.